Well, all right. Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. Once again, this is the Cosmocentric Mystic. This time, coming to you with some information that I know related to acupuncture, Chinese medicine. Currently, I am a student in acupuncture school, striving to attain my license so I can become a holistic health and healing practitioner and then heal the community uh, through understanding and guiding the energy of the body to heal the person that I am working on and working with. Um, if you've been following me, then you can see that I am an energy practitioner and I seek to become a better healer in the community. And this is my goal, this is my passion, this is my life. So, without further ado, however, this was a presentation that I did a few months ago when I was heavily involved in school. This is going to be a refresher for me. So, there are going to be concepts that you see that can be further explained and that I'll have to revisit in another video that I do to explain it better. And if you have any questions or I want to just have a conversation about it, that would be better. That would be nice because any engagement in this information for me helps me become a better practitioner. So here we go. Introduction to Chinese Medicine Foundations 101. So, historical development. The first mention, so Chinese medicine in general deals with the interactions of yin and yang, bona fide, period. And so you're looking at an energy of an energy that is both passive and powerful and active and powerful, each respected in its own domains. So the first mentions of yin and yang date back to 700 BCE in the I Ching, and that was represented by lines. And so anybody familiar with the oracle of the I Ching knows that it's either a single line representing dynamic energy or a broken line which represents, passivity, yin. So all things that are yang. Yang is light. Yang is the sun, its brightness, its activity. Yang is called heaven. It is round. Yang is round, meaning that it goes in cycles. The hence time. Yang is to the east, yang is south, and is also left. Contrast that with yin. Yin is darkness, it's the moon, it's shade, it's rest, it's earth. Yin is flat, it's space, it's west, north, and it's right. These are certain aspects of yin. So, as you can see here, let's look at yin and yang and its transformations throughout the year. So, let's begin with the winter solstice. So, at the winter solstice, you have the utmost yin. It's yin within yin, meaning everything. It's like all yin on the planet Earth, or wherever it's winter on the planet Earth. So that means things are within, things are going down. There is coldness in the air, and so there is a tendency to be internal during yin times, and that is the winter. That is the yin within yin. It is utmost yin. And then you have the growth of yang. This is the coming of spring, and so you feel creative. You feel as if though you're coming out of a darkness. That's what spring is. I mean, just look at what happens in spring. Everybody comes out. Springtime is when everybody gets down, and the sisters are showing what they have and trying to attract a mate. The brothers are out there being extremely yang with the sisters that are being extremely yin. And then the summertime, yang is risen. We're at the summer solstice, June 21st. And it's hot within hot within hot. And that's all that it's about to get is hotter. And so that's summer. And then during the autumn, is when the yin comes back around, and it's the growth of yin. And so this is the cycles and seasons of yin and yang throughout the year, and this is constant. This can be equated also with life. Life has a child. You're the utmost yin. You're one of the utmost yin at this point. You can't. There's no dynamic energy going on within you unless it's just the energy of running around within the confines of the structure and limitations set up by your parents, which is cool. That's what it is. But you're still at a yin stage. Now your growth of the yang happens in your third chakra kind of stage and phase. That's when you're becoming a teenager and you're like trying to discover yourself, because the third chakra is all about willpower. I am, and so then you're looking at yourself as an individual in relationship to the group. Who are you? As my teacher would explain or say it, who am I? And then you have your summertime, and your summertime is you, boom, banging, out there doing your thing, manifesting all that you will to manifest. And then you have your yin within yang. So then you have, the time period of your life in which you're going down, your metabolism is not going as fast, and you're gaining weight, or you're having more illnesses, or you're tired, and you want to rest. And so the yin is on the rise. You sleep more, you're indoors more. That's the more yin taking over after the yang part of your life. But nothing is complete, nothing is total. Within yin there is yang, and within yang there is yin. So something about yang is it's immaterial, it produces energy, it generates. It's not really substantial, it's expanding. Yang is an expanding, rising energy. It's above, it's fire, it's heat. When you bring that yang energy, it's a rise. It's like you feel yourself rising, to the occasion. However, there's no structure. Yang is just like air. Air is an extremely yang element. So if you look at it in the 4 elements of Western astrology, yang would be that extreme air, and so then it's just like boom, out there, just running and running and running and running and running, but it has no form. Yin is the form. Yin is the material. Yin produces form. It grows. So yin grows, and it's substantial. It's the deepness, it's the darkness, it's that deep energy. It's matter. Yin is contracting. So wherever anything is in a yin state, that means it is not growing, but coming in, it is contracting. It's going down, it's below, and it's water. So in the application of the theory of yin and yang, there are 4 relationships that are essential and important. The first is the opposition of yin and yang. Yin and yang are always opposing one another. It's that symbol. I'm not really connected to the internet right now, and so there would be a picture for you to see. However, it's that general yin and yang symbol where yin is over yang, and yang is over yin, depending on which way you flip the picture. And there's an interdependence. Yin depends upon yang, and yang depends upon yin. You can't have all yin or all yang, because life cannot exist in extremes. You have the mutual consuming of yin and yang. So as yin consumes yang, yang consumes yin, and one goes into the other. And as if everything is holistic and balanced, then it flows. And you have intertransformation of yin and yang. That means yin is always turning into yang, and yang is always turning into yin. Okay. So this opposition is relative. The opposition of yin and yang is relative. It's not absolute. So there is nothing that is totally yin and nothing that is totally yang. Everything contains a seed of its opposite. So things are not yin and yang in and of themselves, but in relationship to other things. This is really key. So, as you're reading on the screen, looking at Florida. So if you were to go down in Florida in February, it would be hot, you know, because Florida is closer to the equator, it's closer to the sun versus New York. New York in February is like cold. It's really dreary, actually. It's dirty depending on if it's snowed, and it's got its thing going on. Versus Florida, they're having volleyball, battles on the beach in bikinis and swim trunks and whatnot. But then if you were to look at Florida versus Ghana is way more yang, because it's closer to the equator than Florida is. And so Ghana is more yang than Florida, and so in relationship to Ghana, Florida would be yin and Ghana would be yang. But in relationship to New York, Florida is yang and New York is yin. And take New York versus Alaska. New York is yang, Alaska would be yin. So it's all in relationship to one another. So there is no absolutes in Chinese medicine, just like there are no absolutes in life. All right, I think I already went over this. One cannot exist without the other. Day cannot exist without night. So this is a diagram of what it looks like when yin is in preponderance. So this is this diagram over here. There's a decrease of yang. So like this line is like a homeostatic balance in your life, right? Your body is operating when if both bars were at this line, then you would have optimum health. This is something, and unless you have like some sort of illness, this is you growing up for the most part up into your 20s or 30s or whatever the onset of imbalance occurs due to life living. So when you have more yin rising, yang is in the decrease. So if you'll notice, like this space right here between this line and this above the line is equal, because yin has consumed the yang energy available to you, and it is in preponderance. And so when you have more yin than yang, there is a time, this indicates like psychologically a time of depression, a time of going within. There is less of interaction with society, and so then there's a good chance that the person is experiencing a time of loneliness, because yin is, remember earlier, yin is about that darkness, about that deepness, about that state of being to oneself. In relationship to health and illness, then there is a more yin in the body. Their body could be more, the metabolism in the body has slowed down. It's not as energetic. There's more weight gain in the person's body in general. And so let's look at this next one. When there is excess yang, but when there is yang, but there's a deficiency of yin. So yang is not really yang is just right there at the tip of the body, but there's a yin deficiency. So that means there's there's not enough yin to sustain the yang activities. And so the person may be going out and being able to do his activities in the world, but their structure and form is off. They may have brittle bones, they may begin to have weak knees and things of this nature, because their structure and form cannot maintain the balance of yang energy. But that's not an over excessive force. It's just showing that yin is on the decrease inside the body. I'm still in the process of understanding this, and so as I learn more, I'll do another video in which I show what I've learned. And over here we have an excess of yang. So there's too much things going on. You're too busy. You know, it's like that student that is like running around in class and can't sit down, or it's like somebody that's constantly outgoing, constantly doing this, constantly seeking self outside of themselves. And so then you have less yin activity. So the person, meditation is off for this person. This person is not in the house. This person is hypersocial, maybe even to a degree of manicness. And over here you have, and then at the same time, this happens with women. This is yin deficiency. And when you have night sweats. So yin, there is the utmost yin during the daytime is at night. So yin dominates in the night. And so the situation in nighttime should look something like this. But when there is a yin and so this is, you know, hyper coolness. The body is in a repose state. You're just resting. But when you have yin deficiency, this is the state of the body here. There's not enough yin to control the yang. And so the yang, well, yin deficiency is over here. There's not enough yin to control the yang. And so the yang is not doing anything it wouldn't normally do. However, it is too much. It is overpowering the yin energy available to you. And so then you break out. This is times where you'll notice at night if you get thirsty, because the nighttime is the time of the yin. But if there's not enough yin in your body, the yang is dominating, and so you're burning up the reserves of water you have, or you have night sweats because their body is too yang and it's trying to cool itself down. All right, so these intertransformation times only happen at specific intervals. Summer turns into autumn at the end of August, beginning of September, not in June or July. June or July is still summer, but it is becoming autumn. Day turns into night at specific times. Now, in order for this to happen, two conditions must exist for this intertransformation, for this interaction. There must be an internal condition, meaning change takes place only when the internal conditions are ripe. If the internal conditions are not met, then there will be no change. It's basically like when you're out here building with somebody and they have not had the experiences which will allow them to receive your knowledge. You just got to let it go. You know, it's not time for them. Now, external factors only come into play when the internal environment is ready. So someone's already been through a phase or something's already happened in which they are now ready to receive the information. So, but this is like a physical representation of this is snow will not form from rain without the environment being cold enough for that to happen. So when you start seeing snow in like the summer, you can tell the rhythm of the planet is being thrown off. At the moment, I can't recall that happening. I have a feeling like that's happened this year. But when you see that happening, when it's supposed to be summer and you see snow, that's an indication that there is, you know, too much yin on the planet and not enough yang. And so then we're in trouble. The planet is in an imbalanced homeostatic. The planet is in an imbalanced homeostatic state. In time, yin and yang can only transform to each other when it is time. At 12 noon, yang is at its utmost and yin is not. And that's just the way it goes. Now, medicinally, there are 4 types of treatments. You're either tonifying yang, you know, strengthening the yang to bring it up, or you're eliminating the excess yang. There's too much yang going on here, and so then you're trying to get rid of it. Or you're tonifying yin, you're bringing the yin up to meet the yang, and you're eliminating excess yin. All right, so in relationship to the body, so the back and the front, all yang channels flow when you all meridians, all the yang channels flow in the back, it protects. All yin channels flow in the front and nourishes. So there are the yang channels go down the back, the yin channels go down the front. The yang channels are up on the upper extremities. So when you do the acupuncture, your yang channels are up and your yin channels are in your yang channels on the exterior, your yin channels are in the interior. All yang channels end or begin in the head. Yang energy rises, and points can be used to rise the yang energy. So if you need to wake up, or if you need to control basically you use the points in your head. Skin and muscles are yang. Nourishing internal organs are yin. Above is yang, below is yin. You can all read the rest of that for yourselves. This is kind of just a diagram. It is important, but I think you can read it for yourselves. Okay, function and structure of organ. Yang corresponds to function. Yin corresponds to form. What is the action of the organ? And then what is the form of the organ? So ki is the lifeblood. Ki is energy. Ki is the energy of the universe. Ki flows throughout all of life. We're talking about the management of ki within the body. And so ki is yang inside the body. Ki is that immaterial essence that keeps you going. It is the divine essence's blessing upon you. So it's yang, however, compared to blood. So blood kind of mimics like ki movement. Blood is constantly flowing. So the heart is like an extremely yang organ in the body. And it constantly works, constantly pumps, constantly flows, lets the blood flow. So ki warms, protects, and transforms, while blood nourishes. So defensive ki and nutritive ki. So defensive ki is basically your immune system. If you get a cut on your body, your defensive ki will come to that place, and using the DNA information stored inside your cells, it begins to heal that part of the body by taking away other sources from other areas of the body and bringing it there in order to heal it. That is the consciousness that is of the energy of ki. Now nutritive ki is that ki that we get from food. It's coming from the universe, but it's ki that we get from food to nourish our body so that we can go on with our day-to-day lives. So all of the universe uses ki, and this is just ways in which we manipulate and transform ki in order to help us grow and live. So medical applications. A person with excess yang will feel hot. A person with excess yin will feel cold. There will be redness and paleness. There will be redness if it is hot, and there will be paleness if it is cold. Restlessness, fidgeting, tremors, insomnia, those are all yang. Quiet behavior, a desire to sleep is all yin. Dryness, dry throat, dry skin, dry eyes, that indicates you have excess yang. Wetness, watery eyes, runny nose, damp pimples, or loose stools, you got diarrhea, that's excess yin. So hard lumps, swellings, or masses are excess yang. So breast cancer and things of this nature is like an extreme yang. If they are soft, they are extreme yin. So yang is movement, it's fluid, ki flows. When yang is deficient, ki stagnates. And yang does not excrete. Yin prevails, and energy condenses in form. Okay. So yin corresponds to conservation and storage. Hence, the yin organs store blood and body fluids. Yang is change and transformation, like stomach, or the small intestine. The small intestine is yang compared to the stomach, which is yin. Stomach kind of holds and moves things, but the small intestine transforms the food into essence. I'm talking about the large intestine. Sorry, the large intestine is yin. Yang corresponds to change and transformation. This corresponds to the yang organs, which are constantly filled and emptied. You can't see that. And that is it. So that is the basics of yin and yang. That's yin and yang 101, class 1. I hope you've enjoyed it. I may have made some mistakes. If I have, please let's talk about it. Correct me. I'm definitely learning this science. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.